Today we're testing the new T20 wedge from Mizuno, and I think you'll agree it's a stunning looking wedge, but we're going to see how it actually performs out on the course. So we've got about a 90-yard pitch shot here, and we're just going to look and see how much spin we're generating and how well we can control it when it's landed on the greens. So I've got a 51 degree of loft here. So I think one thing is it sits really nicely behind the ball. It kind of has a teardrop shaping. That strike felt really nice and solid, and it's just pitched and stopped dead on the green. These are designed so that even when it's damp conditions, we are getting that spin. We can see today we've got a bit of damp ground, and that stopped and pitched just exactly where it initially landed. So I'm testing this club with a True Temper Dynamic Gold S400 shaft, and I found that I had a really good feel and really nice control through that shot. We've got 8 degrees of bounce on this, and I found that that was fine for my turf interaction, and it felt like it bounced fine off the ground. I didn't feel like it was too little or too much bounce. So again, I struck that nicely. It's finished exactly the same distance as the other one. Slightly further right, it just got pushed across in the crosswind, but the consistency and the consistency of the spin is really good so far. So I've just pulled that one slightly. We've seen it's pitched in the same place, but it has actually spun back a little bit more. It's just more on a slope on the left side of the green, so we've just seen a bit more spin back on the slope. But overall, I'm really pleased with how consistent the spin was there, but let's head down to the green and see how they finished. So I felt like I had really good trajectory and flight control on all 3 of those shots. And the first 2 you can see here finished very similar distance. They're both pin high, and we both saw really consistent spin between the 2 of them. This one on the left I pulled slightly, so it kind of hit this downhill cross slope and span back a bit more than the others, but that's just down to the conditions of the greens. So I think all 3 shots span really consistently, which is really important. So we've got kind of one of those classic shots here where you've got to carry a hazard, but then the pin's on the front, so you need some checkup, and you need the ball to land softly. So I've got my 58 here, and we're just going to try and see how much we control the spin on a half shot rather than a full pitch shot. I would say the difference I can notice with this is it's slightly more rounded than the 51 we were pitching with earlier, but it still sits really nicely behind the ball. So I struck that slightly heavy, so it's just hit the front of the green rather than releasing all the way up to the pin. So we'll hit another few and just see if it releases out a bit more. So that was a much better strike. I flew it up all the way back to the pin, and it checked up quickly and stopped really nicely. That's something I'm really impressed with, because from this distance it can be quite hard to generate enough spin, so when you're just hitting a half shot rather than a full shot. So obviously you're not generating as much friction because you've got less speed, so seeing that amount of spin is really impressive. So the new T20 wedges feature HydroFlow microgrooves. Now these are laser etched onto the face vertically, and it's designed to help increase spin even in damp conditions. Each wedge is spin weighted, and this means that some of the weight is redistributed higher in the face. So this is designed to kind of help on those off-center strikes and make sure that it's more forgiving, but it's also designed to increase your spin. So the wedges are also CNC milled, so this just means each wedge is consistent, so throughout the set you're going to get consistent spin and just a consistent strike. Across the different lofts there's different grind options available, so you've got your standard grind, then you've also got your M grind, and then your more aggressive C grind. So you can't test a wedge without taking it in the bunker, and personally bunker play is one of my favourite parts of my games. So we've just got kind of a short-sided shot here. You've got to carry it over a bit of rough, and then you've got a small bit of green to land it on. So 1, we're wanting to look at how the ball reacts off the face, and 2, how much spin we get and how that soft it lands. Yeah, so I struck that nice, so we didn't see an excessive amount of spin, but it landed soft, shows that there is some spin happening and it is generating that nice soft release that you want with this shot. You don't really want it coming off really fast, running away from the pin. So again, I struck that nicely. We did actually see a little bit more spin on the first bounce there, and it's rolled out just short of the first ball, but it's probably left me about 6 feet for par. So I've got the 56 degree wedge now, and this actually has a bit more bounce than the other ones I've used, so we've got 14 degrees of bounce on here. So that is quite a lot, so it just depends how much bounce you feel comfortable with. For a standard shot like this, it would be fine, and I think for a full pitch shot, it would also be fine. You just might have to be careful if you play on a links course or somewhere where it's quite firm, because it'll probably bounce off the ground a bit too much. But this lie isn't too tight, so it should be fine. Now here we're just looking at kind of your standard chip shot, so we're just looking to kind of run it a third to a half on the green and let it release out. So we don't necessarily want too much check, and we just want a soft release down the green. So we can see I pitched that just under halfway, and it just rolled out really nice. So it was just a nice soft landing, and it's nothing we really had to worry about. There wasn't too much check or anything like that. So for this perspective, it performed really well. So overall, I've been really impressed with how these wedges performed. I think they're really good looking wedges, and throughout the set I really liked the way they looked and sat behind the golf ball. There's numerous different finishes, so we've got one of the satin ones and this is in the raw finish, and both look great. I found that through all different bounce options I tried, I had a really good turf interaction, so that's really important. But also it's important to make sure you check out the different bounce options and find out which ones are right for you, because that can be relative to your swing, but also to your home course and what kind of lies you get around the green. Throughout testing, we were getting really good consistent spin, be that on the full pitch shots, the half wedge shots, and even throughout the bunker. So that was something I was really pleased with, and I would really consider putting these in my bag and gaming them. So thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon.